Hey guys, it's your girl Crystal. I am finally done with the WIREBRA tutorial. I'm so excited to share this with you guys. So I'm just going to jump right into it because it's going to be a long video. I'm just showing you the materials I used in this tutorial, which were black marker, cutting pliers, tape, 14 gauge wire, a measuring tape as well, and a 36B bra. Now you should use a bra that fits you well, because it's going to be important when you take the underwire measurement for the wire bra. So I would say use something similar to this bra. It's a very standard bra. It has wire in it already and is padded, and it gives you a really good interpretation of how a wire bra should kind of hold up underneath your boobs when you measure the underwire. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the measuring tape and I'm starting where the strap meets the cup on the regular bra, and I'm just gently guiding the measuring tape along the cup just to make sure I get the most accurate measurement possible. So you guys should know by now I like half measurements, so I'm just doing 1 cup, and half measurements help me with symmetry. So I got like 12.5. With that 12.5, I'm gonna take that and multiply it by 2, and that gives me 25 inches. So with the 14 gauge wire, not distorting it, not pulling it too much or anything like that, I'm leaving it with its natural curve. I'm going to use the measuring tape, and I'm gonna measure all the way up to the half measurement that I got, which was 12.5. I'm gonna take my marker and I'm gonna mark that spot. Then I'm gonna start over again, start at the end of the wire again, and then I'm going to take the full measurement, which is 25 inches, guide the measuring tape all the way around the wire until you get to 25 inches. And I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to mark that spot. Now I'm going to cut at this spot now because we want to make sure we have the full measurement, not cut at the half measurement. That's important. So I'm cutting at the full measurement, which is 25 inches. That's what I got for my bra. And yay, so excited, gotta shake it a little bit. So now I'm measuring to my half measurement. This is the whole reason why we take this measurement, because this measurement is very important. It's gonna create the peak of our wire bra. So we're not cutting, we're actually gonna bend here. So gently guide the pliers onto the wire, and you're going to use your thumb to push the pliers forward away from you, and you're going to use your other 4 fingers to pull it towards you, and it's going to create a V shape, right? So it's a nice V shape. And with this is why I always say don't distort the wire, because it's going to be very crucial to keep that circular shape. And for me, I can use my hands because I've been doing this for a while, but you can use like a small paint can or anything that has a nice cylinder shape to give you that curvier look to create the shape that you need. See, like I'll just go in and adjust and pull and all of that, not really bending and bending and distorting the shape at all. So now we're back to our regular padded bra, and with this we're gonna take measurements and kind of like eyeball it because everybody's different. With this, I'm just getting the measurement for my triangles. Now we're doing a triangle shape. I should have probably said that earlier, but we're doing a triangle shape bra, which is a very standard shape. And with this, I take a measurement that's like 2 inches, 2.5 inches away from the tip of the cup. And I'm taking the measurement and I'm bringing it all the way down to the wire frame of the regular bra and creating a V shape. So this is just going to give me an idea of how much inches I need for the actual triangle, what I'm going to actually tape on to the underwire portion of the wire bra. Now, after making marks just help to kind of give us a visual. You don't have to do it, but I suggest that you do. You're going to take the measuring tape and you're going to just kind of see where it falls. So like it falls in between 4 and 5 inches. So for me, that's 5 inches. I just round up. Right, so I rounded up, and with 1 cup you got like basically 10 inches because one side is 5, the other is 5. But when I'm taking this measurement, I'm going to do both cups at the same time. So I'm going to get one big full measurement. Now, with this as well, I cannot use just 10 inches. I need to add inches on for extra room to be able to put the triangle onto the actual wire frame. So I'm going to stop at 10 inches, but then with the 10 inches, I am going to add on some more inches because I need that extra room. So I'm adding on 4 inches to make it 14. So all together, I'm going to take 14 inches for 1 cup. So 14 times 2 is 28. So I'm just going to take the measurement 28 inches for both cups in one shot. It's just easier and faster to do this. I'm just gonna mark it. It's just so much less complicated than doing this twice. So you're cutting at the 28-inch mark, and you're gonna take your wire again, and then you're going to measure to the midpoint of 28 inches, which will then make 2 pieces of wire so that you can start making your cups. So we're going to 14 inches. 14 inches. Just keep that in mind. This is the midpoint of 28 inches. This is 2 cups in 1 wire. So gonna mark where 14 inches stops at the wire. And then with that marked, you're gonna use your pliers. I just want you guys to see it. That's the midpoint of 28 inches. 28 inches is 14 is your midpoint for 28 inches. 28 divided by 2 is 14, right? So you're going to take the pliers and you're basically just going to cut that in half. Right, snap, crackle, pop. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. Now we have 2 pieces of wire, so we're going to make 2 triangle cups for our wire bra. So we're going to take one of the 14 inches, one of the pieces of wire that will become a triangle cup, and we're going to find the midpoint of 14 inches, which is 7 inches. Right, I'm just making sure that this is 14. It doesn't hurt to double check, so you can do that, just to make sure. If it's over a little bit, don't worry about it. You just want to make sure. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm at the 7-inch point, 7-inch mark, and I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to mark there because that's going to be super important, because that is where we're going to make the peak for each cup. We're going to do it on both. I'm just going to show you on one, and then I'm going to take the pliers again and push my thumb into the pliers using my other 4 fingers to pull the wire towards me, pull it back to make a nice shaped V. Right, as you can see, it's flat. We're gonna get to that part, how we make the shape of the wire bra cups, but this is how I make the wire bras. It's just easy for me. Yeah, so we made our nice V shape, and now we have our second one. It just magically appeared. I just wanted to show you guys one time. If you need to see it again, I suggest, just drop some comments in the comment section, and I'll go into more depth in another video. So with this right now, I am cutting pieces of smaller wire to make anchor points. This is where you have those little loops in the wire bra that you use to pull the strap through to kind of support it against your chest, your breast. So my loops usually range between 4 to 5 inches. That gives me enough room to make a nice loop so that you have enough space, enough length to fasten it to the wire bra, so it's not too problematic. If it's too short, it can become problematic, so you want to make sure you have enough space. So I'm just taking a piece of it, getting close to one end of it, and I'm just rounding it. So rounding it around the pliers, right, to make a nice, well, I wouldn't say a semicircle, but like a squiggly circle. And you're gonna turn it around and you're gonna place that same circle into the pliers and then bend the other end around the pliers to make a complete loop. Sometimes I use the pliers to kind of like push it down to make it a little bit more flat because they tend to be big because of the size of my pliers. Once you have enough room to slide the strap through, that's all that matters. It doesn't have to be huge like mine, but I tend to do that on a regular. So I'm just going to show you again how I did it. Taking the end of the, well, close to the end of the wire, and I'm just bending it around the pliers. It's like a squiggly circle, like I said. It's not a full circle, obviously, like a funny looking U or V or whatever. And then you're going to slide that into the pliers again. Once you turn it around, slide it into the pliers, and then you're going to wrap it back around the pliers and then kind of squish it a little bit so it's very level on the inside, because we are using this to line up with our WIREBRA. So we have 2 of those for the WIREBRA. Sometimes people use 4. I like to use 2 depending on the size bra that I'm using. For me, I only need 2. Usually bigger cups, I would say use 4. 4 will give you more support because that would be more places to put more straps. So now we're taking our V's, or our upside down V's, our triangles, or what I like to call it. And what I'm about to show you guys is how I'm going to bend the cup. Now, this may not be the easiest thing, but if you can find a small paint can or anything with a nice cylinder shape, you can easily do this with that. I just like to show people with my hands because it's just a slower method. And you get to kind of see it as it gradually, gets to the point that I needed to get to. I mean, in case you want to just use your hands, but it is also easier to use a paint can and just press the wire up against it to follow the curve of the can. So basically that's what I just did. I just bent in the middle portion of the wire from the peak, and that's in between the peak and the ends, and bent it to give it more of a curved shape. So now what we're doing is, if you remember, these triangles are supposed to be 10 inches, like all together for like one triangle. So what I'm doing is I'm starting at the peak and I'm taking 5 inches measurements on each side of the triangle and marking it, because this is the length that I want the cup to be. This is how high up from the WIREBRA frame that I want the cup to lay. I don't want it to be more than that, because I feel like that would be way too much for my size. So I'm making these points, these markings on this triangle to show you where I'm actually going to make like little legs that are going to attach to the WIREBRA. And this is going to help get the triangle onto the WIREBRA frame and onto the underwire frame. So what I'm doing is taking the pliers and I'm making like a V shape, but I'm literally like making legs for these triangles. Like these legs are going to attach to the underwire, and this is how the cup attaches to the underwire. So I do it on both sides, taking my time, gently doing it, finagling with the wire cup. But as you can see, it has legs now. It's like a V shape, upside down V shaped triangle. It's a triangle with legs. And you're going to take it and look, it's standing up by itself. And that's a good sign, because you need it to be upright. It can't just be like something that's just chilling. So I now have a piece of tape in my hand, and it's only to show you guys the size of the tape that I'm using to tape these triangles onto the WIREBRA frame. I want something that size because it's just easier to use to wrap the tape around the 2 pieces of wire. So now you see why I need the legs, because I need these legs to attach to the underwire frame. So I'm taking them and kind of lining it up with the underwire. And I know it doesn't look like it's gonna line up, but this is where like manipulation comes in with the pliers, with your hands and stuff like that. So I just did one right away just so you guys can see like how it's shaped onto the underwire. I'm going to show you step by step with the other side how it's done. But I just wanted you to get a visual of how everything looks once you shape it to the wire. It's just basically looks like it's, you know, one piece of wire, like it never was two pieces. Right. Sorry, excuse my extra hand movements. So I'm showing you guys how I'm cutting the tape. Now, this is not the tape that I usually use. It's just something that I had lying around because the tape that I need, I could not find in Nassau. I ordered it online and it's still not here yet. But I would not recommend you use this if you're going to wear a wire bra, but it is good to practice it with. Like, you can use this tape to practice with. And if you're really good, like really good at it, you'll notice that the strength of the wire bra still holds up really well with the tape. Now, I was surprised because I was like, oh Lord, this is just going to be like a hit and a miss, but it actually worked out pretty well. So as you can see, I'm taking the other leg and I'm literally trying to line it up with the underwire. I'm going to use my pliers to help me out a bit. So I'm going to take the pliers and I'm kind of just going to bend it into the shape that the underwire is already in to match it up together, because they need to lay onto each other flat so that it's easier for me to tape them together. Now, taping, most people I think now do welding. I don't weld wire bras. If I do get a welded wire bra, I usually buy it from somebody, but I don't weld. But I'm showing you the traditional way of wire bending, or at least in regards to costume making. So as you can see, I'm still fooling around with it, taking my time, trying to make sure that these two pieces of wire are flush against each other. They need to be flat onto each other to make sure that this lines up properly, that it fits properly. And the reason why I wanted the extra length when I cut the cups out, the cup wire, like the 14 inches into, the two 14 inches, is because it makes sense when you have a longer piece of a leg to attach to the underwire, because you want as much support as possible. You don't want it to be like 2 inches short or 1 inch short and then the thing slip out and then your breasts all over the place while you running down the road and gallivanting and all kind of things. You want to be as secure as possible. So it's good to use extra room. This is why this part was so important. But as you can see, I'm still fooling around. Sorry, I'm coming out of frame, but usually I would sit down in a chair and do this in my lap. I wouldn't necessarily do it with a camera standing over me. So what I'm doing is literally just lining the two pieces of wire up as much as I possibly can. It can be a little bit difficult. That's why I said it's best to use 14 gauge wire or 16 gauge wire when you're beginning, because you need a wire that's pliable enough, like that matches your hand strength, so that you can make an effective product. You know what I mean? So practice with 16 gauge, practice with 14 gauge wire, then you can go up to 12 gauge, and from there, just finesse. So as you can see, it's getting closer and closer. I know I'm taking my sweet time, but I want you guys to see this process, because this is so important when you're taping wire bras. You need to make sure the stuff lines up and that it's neat and that it's supportive, because all of this helps to make it supportive. It's not just for neatness now, is to help it. It's there. The reason for it being the way that it looks, the reason why I did it with the extra length, is to make sure that it's supportive. Especially with this gauge, it has to be supportive. So I've obviously gotten it to a point where it's lined up. I'm so excited, finally. But I want you to see where the bend and where the leg and the underwire meets. Look how flat they are, flush against each other. And now I'm going to show you how I tape, and you got to pay real good attention to this because this can get a little tricky. So I'm like lapping over a piece of tape, making sure it's touching the other side as well as the top. And what I'm doing, I mean, sorry, excuse the tape. It didn't want to cut properly, but it's still good work. I'm folding it over. And while I'm folding it over that little corner, I'm pulling the tape, because you need to make sure that tape is pulled to make sure the joint is secured, because with this leg and meeting the underwire, it's now becoming a joint. You're making one seamless piece of wire basically. So you're folding it over, like going in one corner then to the next, kind of like weaving, if that makes sense. For those who braid or who do like baskets and stuff like that, straw baskets, you'll get a really good sense of this, because your hands constantly use this movement. So now that I have a tight corner, like with the tape, it's lined up really well and it holds the leg onto the underwire and it's created a joint. Now I can take more tape and I can fasten the longer piece of the wire onto the underwire. So it creates a more seamless look for the wire bra. All right, so I pretty much just take it all the way up to the edge. This type of tape, I am using this to practice. I would suggest people use it to practice as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you in this video what type of tape you should be using. And I'm going to leave a link for it from Amazon in the description, so you guys can know exactly what type of tape you need to get. It's pretty cheap. It's called strapping tape, at least I call it strapping tape, but I believe people call it fiberglass tape. And it has basically like teeth in it, so it'll do a better job than this type of tape. But like I said, if you're really good at this, like if you practice, you can use pretty much any kind of tape. But I would not suggest you use any kind of tape if you're going on the road. I would only suggest that you use tape, regular tape, to practice. So that's basically a secured cup onto an underwire, right? And I'm surprised that it came out this well, because I usually just use strapping tape, but I had to work with what I had. And yeah, it's pretty symmetrical on this side. At least it looks like a cup. And it's pretty sturdy from my end. Like me holding it, I could feel that it's pretty sturdy. So what I'm going to do now is basically show you guys how to make the other side symmetrical to the side that's already done, what's already completed. So we're taking measurements. We're gonna go from the tip of the wire bra, from the edge like that starts the wire bra, and then you're gonna take that measurement from that tip of the wire to the end of, well, the beginning of the cup on that side. And then you're going to take that same measurement. I got like a little past, or a little before 5 inches. And you're going to take that same measurement and you're going to line up your measuring tape to the wire on the other side, and you're going to mark it. Make sure you make a nice big bold mark so you can see it. Sometimes they move if your hand, gets all over the wire and stuff like that. Sometimes it slips off. So just make sure you make a nice mark. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the inside mark from the peak to the other side of the cup. And this one will be obviously a little bit shorter. And from there, you're taking it from the peak to where the cup starts. And you're going to get like a little before 3 inches. So I like to do it as exact as possible, because as exact as possible, the more symmetrical it is. It could never be super symmetrical. I don't think anything is that perfect, but it's good practice. You need to make sure that you practice that. And so what you're going to do now is you're going to go back to the peak, and you're going to take that measurement and you're going to mark where it stops, to make sure you get that same measurement from the other side, because once you place the other cup down, you want to make sure that they both line up properly. So we made our marks, and everything looks good. Yeah, just got to make sure it's nice and bold, because when you come back, you might, sometimes I wipe off the mark and I'm like, oh, I got to go back over it and measure it again. But you're going to take the other cup with the legs and you're going to fasten it to the wire bra. And I already did it. If you need a refresher, just, rewind and go back to that one. Or if you need me to really get in depth with it, then drop a comment in the comment section. So now what I'm doing is taking the anchors, well, what I like to call the anchor points, but the little semicircle thingies. This is where the strap is going to go. This is where your wire bra straps are going to go. So now I'm going to fasten these onto the wire bra, and I'm going to fasten them on as good and tight and secure as possible, because remember, now your strap is going through these holes. So you need to be able to do it as secure as possible, because when you pull yourself into the wire bra, when you pull the strap, you don't want it to pop off or anything. However, once you wrap your wire bra with fabric, that reinforces it as well. So it's not really something to worry about per se. I just like to make sure that this is done as properly as possible. So I'm like literally interlocking the tape around the loop onto the wire bra, like through the loop onto the wire bra, just to make sure it's as secure as possible, because we want to make sure they stay on. They have to stay on. I know other people have different methods for putting straps under wire bras, but this to me is, a favorite, and I prefer it personally. I don't like to puncture my wire bras to put straps through. I don't like to tie the straps onto the to the wire frame. I need like a loop to pull it through. It just works best for me. You can make your loops a lot smaller too, like I said. Doesn't have to be as huge as mine, but like literally I just do it because, I like to make sure I know where they are, because sometimes they could be really tiny. So yeah, we have done one side, and now the other side has to be completed. But as you can see, you see the symmetry of the bra. Now I'm now realizing that this bra is definitely a C cup, a borderline D cup. It really depends on the person. Usually when I purchase a costume or when I make a costume for myself, I usually wear a C cup. I am a C cup, but I will get a B cup because I prefer the fit of a B cup versus a C cup on me. And plus, it depends on who makes it. Everybody doesn't make wire bras the same, regardless of if they're welded or taped. So I always tell people size down, because once you size down, that's for sure something that you can adjust. Now, when it comes to girls with more of like a D cup or double D or something like that, it still applies. You just need to make sure that you have really strong straps, really secure strapping, and a good gauge wire to make sure that it's supportive. And it has to be built properly. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm all over this video. Usually when I am making a wire bra, I'm like literally sitting down and it's like me like kind of crouching over and it's in my lap. It's just a little hard to adjust when you're recording it. But I'm hoping that you guys get as much knowledge out of this as possible. I hope it's as clear as possible. If it's not, please let me know. I will go over certain aspects that you would want to see in depth and slow it down a bit, because I could definitely see, where people might get a little confused. But at the end of the day, that's, what the comment section is there for. So you guys just let me know what you think. If you have any questions, I'll definitely answer to the best of my ability. But as you can see, I'm just finishing it up. I'm just adding the other loop on, swirling it around there, swirling the tape around, securing it, and voila, we have a wire bra. Now, I want to get into showing you guys the type of tape that you're supposed to use when you are making a wire bra. for someone or for yourself to actually play mask. Now this is called strapping tape, at least I call it strapping tape, but it's fiberglass tape. And as you can see, it's very hard to get off this piece of, well, this is a pattern that I had for a bikini at one point, but it's very hard to get off. It's very strong, and that's probably been on there for about 3-4 years. And you can see that it doesn't tear easily, it doesn't pop or anything like that. So that is the type of tape that you're gonna need. So the last thing we're gonna do to complete this wire bra tutorial is we're gonna make the loops at the top of the wire bra, like at the tips of the wire bra, that the top straps go into, the strap that goes around your neck. So just taking it, and I am doing like a semicircle type of thing, but it turns more into a teardrop. Basically just taking the end of the pliers and bending it over to meet itself. And that small little space right there, that's where you hook in your strap that goes around your neck, and then, you know, crisscrosses around the back to the other holes, and then ties at the back. So we're gonna do it on the other side so you guys can see. Just taking it from the end of the wire and bending it around itself, and then squeezing it in to touch the wire, so it makes like a complete little teardrop hole type of thing. Which is so cute. I think it's cute, you know. So that is the completed project. If you have a mannequin, I have my mannequin. This is Veronica. She helps me, you know, determine size as well. So if you're not sure, if you have a mannequin, or you can press it up to yourself, that also helps you get an idea of size. But thank you guys for tuning into this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. Like I said, drop comments or questions into the comment section, and I will do my best to answer them. Thank you.